In one of my most recent videos, I mentioned I am now a licensed drone pilot. And Ed on YouTube asked, so, any guide on how to get the license? Great question, Ed, and I do have an answer. Sorry, slight change in location here because that police officer that actually came up to me while I was flying my drone informed me that that was a state park, which I totally knew as a licensed drone pilot. That guy. So here is the federal drone law for North Carolina. To fly a drone as a commercial pilot in the state of North Carolina, you are required to follow the requirements of the FAA's Part 107 Small UAS rule, which includes passing the FAA's aeronautical knowledge test to obtain a remote pilot certificate. Yeah, basically, you gotta take a test. And you can typically take the test at a local airport. I'll put a link below where you can find your closest testing facility. Now the test is not easy, not hard. You can't walk in and pass, but you also don't need to study for a year and then take it. I studied for 4 days and passed, but most people would recommend you take about a month. I think once you get the right study materials, take a couple practice tests, you should be able to gauge how long you need to study in order to take the test. All right, I have a huge secret. This is my biggest tip for taking the test, and it's one book. This book right here, the Remote Pilot 2020 Test Prep. Now, I know it's not 2020 anymore, but this should work. There's probably a 2021 version. I will link this book below. From my experience, if you know this book, you know the test. In fact, some of the practice questions they give you in here were word for word on my test in 2020. Now, I've heard the tests change because they have a whole bank of questions to pull from, but if you know the material in this book, you can answer any of the questions the test will throw at you. I mean, it walks through a number of things. I will say some of it's kind of ridiculous. As a drone pilot, you don't need to know a lot of this unless you are gonna fly near airports. I could see where that would be helpful. You don't crash into another aircraft. Like I said, just get this one book. It will save you the most time, the most money, and I mean, I took my test at a local airport and they said I had the highest grade they've ever seen on the Part 107 test. That was definitely a slight brag. So here's what I recommend doing. Go through this book, study the materials, make sure you understand the practice questions, how you got those answers, and then go take a practice test. There's a couple you can take online. I'll link some below. Sometimes they go out of date, so hopefully the links will always stay up to date. So you'll go to your local airport, you'll take the test online, you'll get a sheet of paper to do some simple math. When I took the test, they graded it right there on the spot, gave me my results, said, hey, we're gonna mail this in. You'll eventually receive one of these in the mail and you'll be a licensed drone pilot. And that's pretty much it. Happy flying.